Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope y'all are doing well. It's been some time since you've heard me doing like a regular discussion video, but it's time. You know, with the news of Kong Studios disbanding, quote unquote, I think it's time we really try to dive deep into this. Now, I'm gonna say it right now. Everything that I'm gonna talk about, it's still a little vague. You know, there's not hardcore confirmation of everything because of course Kong Studios is not outright like answering every single question, but I am going to take you kind of like on a journey of everything that like me, Bombastic Plastic, and shfiguarts were like seeing throughout the last several days of what's been going on with Kong and the questions that started arising and all this stuff, because it was crazy. You know, like before we got what we have here on 5K Toys page with this confirmation of like, yeah, you get your pre-orders, it was very unclear what was going on, you know, for the last few days, and there was nobody that was providing answers. And I'll say it now, I did reach out to 5K Toys before they even posted that. I reached out to them on their Facebook page. I reached out to them on Instagram. I reached out to the admin on Facebook that's, you know, owns the Facebook group for 5K Toys, and none of them replied, which is fine. Maybe they were just waiting for this to drop that, but still, I would have liked to get a little bit more of an insight from them, just because they are working with them. So, you know, a little bit more detail on the situation would have been great, but maybe they were told no. Who knows? Anywho, we're gonna just dive straight into this. Very quickly, for the people that probably are wondering about this, though, yes, your pre-orders are safe. SSJ5s are gonna get made. The Goku Blacks will get made. Despite my comment being here, I'm going to say, though, I really don't know how long this new Kong Studios Beast Deities is going to be around for. That is the unclear part. So, you know, before we jump to conclusions and assume that, yes, everything that they were already talking about is going to get made, I'm just going to stick to the two figures that were, well, two types of figures that were announced, and we'll see how those do. But yeah, those are safe. Anyways, let's start from the beginning over here. So first off, this is going to seem really random, but on their Baidu, which is a Chinese social app, it looks something like this. Oops, wrong screenshot. They posted this. This is something that really like was random at first, because one night it just randomly happened to be there on their page, and I was like, what is this? What the heck is this? And it was basically a set of rules, it seems like, for people that are buying on like the Chinese market. Like, this is what you have to do when you get your order. You can't don't take photographs, and that doesn't seem like something that's not, it's ordinary. I've looked through various different like posts, not just even pertaining to Kong, but it seems like that's something that is normal, like for third parties to like, don't take pictures immediately, don't post them, they'll get deleted, you know, that kind of thing. Probably just to avoid getting detected, copyright, or stuff going on with those apps that people are buying stuff off of. I don't know the full details on that, but it does seem like something that's normal. So I'm not going to get too deep into that. But yeah, you know, it was confusing at first because I didn't know that at the time. But I thought that this is something that, does this apply to, you know, 5K Toys or any of the AliExpress shops? Who knows? Eventually I came to the conclusion that this was just something that those Chinese markets are going to have to worry about, like people buying from, you know, I think it's Yanyu and stuff like that, or something that starts with like Tao Bao or something. I forgot the name of it. But, you know, those kind of Chinese sites. And eventually, you know, I just kind of dismissed this. This is going to seem to have a bigger part to play, though. So I think that this is kind of where everything crashed down, because momentarily, you know, we started seeing this. This is nothing, but they deleted all the stuff on their Weibo page, which is another Chinese-based app. They also post updates there, same as, you know, people like Demnago Fit or other companies and stuff like that, like Black Hole Toys and whatnot. They post updates here, you know, every, you know, few days or weeks. But they had deleted everything. And then this post had happened, and I was like, okay, so are they just revamping their site or updating or something. Maybe, I don't know. The fact that they randomly posted this was like weird, and it was all scribbled out. Didn't really make much sense. So this ended up getting deleted. The next thing that happened after that was their name changing and the icon changing. This is where I was getting very suspicious. And I started talking to Bombastic, started talking to Sai, and we were like, what the heck are they doing? Like, this is really random. It didn't make any sense. And I think we just kind of started saying, like, okay, well, they're talking about chatting privately, so maybe they're just trying to keep things on the down low, since the SSJ3s are, a pretty hot topic. They're their, most anticipated figure of the year. I don't know. That could have been still the case, but then they started, changing more. They just stopped saying anything on here. And yeah, it kind of moved into the other space of the Baidu. They started deleting people's posts. Now, initially, it looked like maybe people's posts were just being deleted if they were not following the rules set here. But that didn't seem to be the case the more you went on. Like, eventually, we got to a point now where the Weibo page is also deleted. Like, it just doesn't exist anymore. The link I have, it will take you here, and then it will redirect you back to the homepage of Weibo. It will not open their page anymore, so it's gone. But yeah, they started deleting people's posts. That's where it was getting a little concerning. And of course, there were many posts that I could not retrieve in time, and I tried to save them in terms of screenshots, but obviously, you can't save every single little thing and go over every little single thing, because they're on a whole different, time zone than me. When their day starts, I'm asleep. When, stuff. I think it's, time zones. Weird. But moving on, this post right here, this is a screenshot. And it was somebody saying, Kong, they ran away with the money. And I was like, what is this? What do you mean? This post got deleted, which is why it's a screenshot. Why can't you see the Weibo? And it wasn't deleted at this point, but it was just looking like this essentially. But yeah, why can't you see the Weibo? And they're blocking people and this and that, and it was just a mystery. Like, I'm serious. There was nothing that was indicating anything was going on behind the scenes that looked like they were going to end up disbanding or, rebranding or anything like that at this point. It was just looking like, did they get caught? Did Tamashi catch them? Did Toei catch them? Did Bandai? Any of those bigger companies that are, going to potentially be against the third parties and whatnot. Because, again, these SSJ3s were a hot topic of discussion, highly anticipated, being talked about, being compared to even Dem Michael Fit stuff on their page. Like, they were being talked about pretty regularly. There was a whole bunch of different, they call them post bars, which is basically, like a channel, I guess you could say. And this is like the Dragon Ball SHF bar, where you find a lot more SHF related to just Dragon Ball stuff, as opposed to it being like Kamen Rider or Ultraman, stuff like that. But, people were posting their pictures of the Kong stuff that they were getting and also talking about it. But at the same time, while people were receiving their orders for the SSJ3s, the Kong was nowhere to be found in terms of communication. People were talking about this. In the future, there will be no brand of Kong model. Now, without any context with what we saw here from 5K Toys and what I got later on, a few days after we started seeing stuff like this, it was very weird. I was lost for words. It just didn't make any sense. And I'm not going to go through like the whole thing here, but everybody was kind of saying like something exploded. Obviously the translations are not entirely accurate, but I'm going to assume that that's kind of just saying it got messed up, something behind the scenes, and they're saying shareholders. And from what I heard, it looked like there was some potential business agreement or whatever that didn't pan through or something like that, and it fell flat on its face, and they're disbanding. But that was like originally what I was hearing before. They released their statement that we saw on Facebook yesterday or 2 days ago, and what we got on 5K Toys yesterday or 2 days ago. And everybody, again, people were saying they won't. Are they taking our money and running away? Like, stuff like that. It was crazy. And people were talking about, like, are they gonna reprint? Are they gonna reprint? Because they didn't. And getting into this next one, they seem to not have made enough stock. This guy I've seen around in Kong's Baidu time and time again. So it's a profile picture I recognize at this point. But basically, what this was talking about, and I have the screenshots translated here from Google, good old Google. But basically, it seemed like there was an insufficient, production capacity. Like, they didn't make enough of the product. They didn't communicate that. And instead of, like, apologizing about it, they just deleted the post and didn't go public with that information to everybody. Hence why this guy is over here in a Mayfix page talking about it, as opposed to talking about it in the Dragon Ball SH. I don't know why he's in the Mayfix part, but, like, instead of talking about it in Kong's group, he had to go elsewhere where I don't know who they are, but that was what was getting even crazier about it. Just the fact that was what was going on, and the fact that they were not talking in the QQ group, which is one of the main places that, like, I don't have access to that because for some reason QQ just doesn't work in terms of getting access with the US right now, at least. But yeah, they were dead silent in their QQ group, which is weird. I really don't generally have a problem with Kong, with their communication in terms of updates, because they were pretty good about that. That was one of the things they kind of had over Demoniacal Fit at the time, because I could count on them, like, posting an update every week at least and saying something. But very odd when I started seeing this, like, they're not talking, and it left us with more confusion. Getting past these screenshots, though, yeah, you see, deleted the posts. And this is from their QQ group. People still asking, what's going on? What's going on? Then we get this on the day of everything dropping. You got El Cuarto dropping his Instagram post, and I was like, well, shit. I wanted to wait, and I didn't want to talk about it unless something was going to come out from Kong or 5K Toys, because I'll tell you, I DM'd them. They didn't comment, until they didn't comment, reply, or nothing. And I don't really count on them replying in the beginning anyway. They seem to reply to comments better than they do DMs and emails, but, that would have been nice to know if they would have DM'd me. But this had come out on Facebook. Whose Facebook? I don't know. But this looked like something from the Baidu, maybe. I mean, not Baidu, the QQ group that they put out. Because, like I said, the frickin' Baidu has no content on it. The Weibo had no content on it. And now, like I said, it's deleted as of today. Oh my gosh, my voice. I don't know why I did that. But getting to this right here. So it said that they will disband in 3 days. What does that mean? To me, that means, okay, the group is disbanding. They're not going to be under this name anymore. They may not be doing what they were doing before. There's some nuance there. Like, you don't know necessarily how far gone they will be. We just know that they will not be Kong Studios anymore, or Kong Model. And they were talking about that there's been cyber violence, personal threats for a long time, threatening means to report. And I'll be honest, at least on the social apps where I was following them a lot, I didn't see the cyberbullying and I didn't see the personal threats. So I can't say I've seen that stuff, but I definitely am not going to dismiss it, because as a third parties do get a little bit beaten up more than the official companies, I feel, because people expect third parties to be, like, snapping on their feet. And I get it. Third parties they don't owe us anything. They can take as long as they want to. But, most people just would like if you order something from them, say, they put it up for pre-order and now it's been 9 months and you haven't heard a single word about it. Of course, people are going to be a little upset, right? But in terms of Kong, like, this year, like, up to this point has been, like, great. Yeah, they've had delays and whatnot, but they've been communicating, and they tell us when the delays are coming. It's not just like a random delay. They try to estimate like when they're going to be done. They show videos, they show photos. So that side of it I didn't really see. A lot of people, at least here on the West Coast, East Coast, and the U.S., praising Kong for the most part. Besides the people who were like, "Oh, it's Kong, and I don't fucking care about Kong," and that kind of stuff. But yeah, the threatening means to report. That's where it gets huge, right? If they were being threatened to be reported to, whether that's like some legal side of Tamashi, Toei, Bandai, or whoever could strike them now that is understandable why they would disappear, right? Go off the face of the earth, essentially. I could understand that. But, if, like, it's weird because we don't really know, like, we'll never know at that point unless they say something in the QQ group or whatever. We'll never know. But if that was the case, then I would think that they would want to lay low longer, right? Like if they actually got threatened for legal action, they wouldn't be just randomly getting back into action, making this stuff again still, right? And granted, they got this little design prepped already. Maybe that's what they were doing in the downtime while they were being quiet. But if they really were under legal action, they would not be bouncing back this fast. I tell you that right now. There's no way that they would bounce back that fast. And these SSJ5s are relatively almost finished, so there's not really a whole lot there that I think they need to do extra, except these now new deity type heads or whatever. So yeah, getting back to this. Yeah, I don't know. That was pretty much 3 of the crazy things from that I didn't really know how to take, because I haven't seen, like I said, the cyber violence or the personal threats. Now there obviously could be other social, apps or sites that they're using to communicate with people, or maybe they're getting people directly inboxing them via their emails that they have, that type of thing. I'm not going to dismiss it, but it's definitely possible that was stuff going on. But it's just hard to like swallow, given the fact that this was like the year that they were really up there as one of the top competitors in the third party space for Dragon Ball, in my opinion. Because again, no one was doing it like them. $50 to $60 figures, stuff that other people necessarily weren't doing. New tech, fanfic type characters, and stuff like that. And the pace. They were not only, doing new stuff, but they were not just like sticking to a reissue. It was new stuff going forward. That's why there's not been a whole bunch of like, reissues of the Super Saiyan 5. They did one reissue, that was it. And then they kind of started moving forward. And, it's been new project announced. We had just recently that Cumber from Super Dragon Ball Heroes and the Broly with the Dragon Ball in his chest, getting announced that they were going to do that next year. We've got Zykor on the board. We've got Broly's on the board. We've got Vegeta's on the board. Like, it was the year for them. So I don't really understand, like, how that all was happening. But yeah, at the bottom here, this is kind of, I think, more related to, like, the Chinese buying apps that they were using or whatever. So I don't think that this necessarily is going to apply to anybody here on, like, the U.S. side either. But moving forward, I mean, yeah, so once I had seen, some of these other posts here that we were talking about, before this had actually come out, I had went and asked the Figure Model store, basically, like, is this stuff still coming? And this is, like I said before, even 5K Toys did their little confirmation. Essentially, yeah, they said it's still going to come. It's been already ordered, and yeah, you'll get it. But my thing at the end of the day, right? Like, yes, cool. They're going to be making what we pre-ordered. How long will they be around after that, right? Are they just going to do the things that we already paid for at this point, or pre-order? Because, depending on where you ordered it from, you have to only pay like $5. But are they only going to just do that stuff, or are they actually going to stick around for the long haul? That is what we don't know. And I mean, even there, you could see in this other screenshot, I didn't see this personally, this information, but apparently they're doing a second run of the SSJ3s on the Chinese market, which makes sense given the fact that they were saying here in these screenshots, that they're insufficient quantity. So I mean, they kind of have to if they didn't have enough, right? Unless they were willing to refund those orders, which probably not. So yeah, but getting back into that other topic, are they going to continue after this? I feel like it's still a little too vague. And I say that just, I know that I asked this question, right? I'm aware. And 5K Toys is kind of being coy with me. But I mean, they're kind of playing into the whole God thing with the, renaming of it, right? And her, right? That's a God deity or whatever. Gorilla God, Jade Rabbit. I forget what the one Goku Black is, but they essentially just kind of seem like they confirmed it. That yes, Broly will be sticking around in terms of being made. The Super Saiyan 4 and 5 versions I'm talking about. Maybe the Vegetas, but I don't know. Until I see like that information from Kong, I mean Beast Deities now, I really am sitting on the fence with that. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And that's something that I'm actively like searching for. Trust me, Sai, and Bombastic are like actively looking for that information to see if Kong/Beast. I don't know what the best way we're gonna have to go about this, because when I say Beast Deities, no one's gonna know what that is. So I'm just gonna say Kong for the last little bit. But yeah, we're trying to see if there's anything else, from Kong. Every day at this point, I've been kind of like searching through the usual places that I would see information. Haven't seen anything too new besides people just asking questions. But yeah, as soon as something pops up, I'll try to let you know. It's just been a rough ride looking at all this stuff. So this is pretty much the conclusion of this video at this point. But that is pretty much the journey that we went on the last few days or weeks, whatever, of seeing Kong go from, announcing the release of their most anticipated project to them, announcing their disbandment of their group. And I've seen people say that they're disbanding, like half of the group is moving over and still doing the stuff. That doesn't really make sense to me. If they were just gonna disband and have the group split in half or whatever, they would have just came out and said that. Like, there's again, like I said, there's a lot of still vagueness. There's a lot we don't necessarily know, and until somebody who has that information wants to come up, step up, and write a huge, long post about it, we will never know. And that's fine. We don't have to know. I think people would just be satisfied if we just get the confirmation that yes, this is us. We'll be around a lot longer than you think, not just to fulfill these pre-orders. That is what I at least want to see, because going forward, I mean, again, like I said, I don't want to go back to waiting on Demoniacal Fit to post an update 5 months later, if at all. I mean, we're seeing still people wait for those Demoniacal Fit Future Gohans that have had no update, absolutely no update, since they went it for pre-order. So that's mostly what I gotta say there. I'll add one thing here, and I won't drop the name of who it was, but there was an additional person that potentially was disbanding, apparently. I won't say who, because they haven't really made their own post about it yet, but I am curious to see if that was true or not. We've seen them post stuff still, so I don't really know, but it did seem like they were kind of in the same predicament in terms of business deal went wrong, but again, there's no clear information on what that was, so I can't really give any more insight into it. So if you do see somebody else announce that they're disbanding or this is their last project, maybe that was the person I'm talking about, but we'll just have to see. But anyways, I appreciate you guys sitting through this video. I know it might be a little long, but I just wanted to talk about it because I mean, I've been sitting on this like for a few days now, waiting to see if anything would come up of it, and for it all to drop like that on, I don't even remember what day this was. Wednesday, yeah, Wednesday or Tuesday. For this all to drop like that was just crazy to me. So hopefully this helped you out in some kind of way, or gave you some insight as to what was going on and how long it's been going on for, or why it was going on, or whatever. Hopefully it did something for you. But anyways, I will catch you guys in the next video. Should be either a review video or talking about something else entirely, SHF related or third party related. We have seen some stuff from Tonson, like the Kid Booze, that I had posted on Instagram, so maybe we'll talk about that. But without further ado, I'm going to end the video here. Catch you guys later. Peace.